TET. My Moze is not about survivability. I call this one Mecha-Forever. My Moze is about dropping 2 fucking nukes all the time. Mech runs on fuel. That's the big thing. So the first thing I do is when you get a kill, you get more fuel, and I lessen the fuel drain. I never take any skills that take more fuel. Hence why I go with nukes, because nukes don't take fuel. Nukes, you just throw them out. So then killing an enemy reduces the cooldown time on the Iron Bear, which is going to tie into having it up longer. You take up less fuel when you gain fuel. You drop your cooldown. Some little stuff, you know, for damage. Of course, splash damage, because we're going to be throwing nukes out there. So I'm just throwing 1 point out. Splash damage. Alright, so when I nuke stuff, it also lights on fire. Okay, if I do create splash damage, let that fire spread like wildfire. Iron Bear gains additional... This, I put skill points in this to get me forward. And because, you know, survivability. And, of course, maximum fuel, because this is the Mecha-Forever build. It's all about being in the Iron Bear constantly. Moze's grenades have a chance to score critical hits. I mean, that's huge. That's just a pure damage thing. I gotta go down that. A grenade already hits hella hard. Imagine having it crit. Because that's twice the damage, correct? Auto bear duration. It will remain deployed in place for a short time. While auto bear is active, it will target enemies nearby. So if I'm not in the mech is still out for another 15 seconds. I don't want to live without my Iron Bear. Whenever Moze damages an enemy with a thrown grenade, for every enemy she hits, she restores a portion of her missing health. Any kind of heal ability, you know, is always important, because Borderlands doesn't just have passive health regen. It exists in Borderlands 2, I think. You get like 60% of your health back or whatever, but just some survivability. Anything that can help you gain health back is usually important in these games. More grenades. Well, come on. Most of our damage is either going to be Iron Bear or grenade. She's just pure explosions. If she's not fucking nuking people, she's tossing grenades that are hitting crits. So, of course, more grenades. When Moze deals splash damage, her action skill cooldown is briefly decreased. Well, what did we say earlier? We want to be able, if we hit splash damage, which we will because we're nuking people with both of our guns, we want that splash damage to spread, and we want it to get larger. Therefore, all that splash damage will tie into our cooldown rate so that we get even more Iron Bear. When Moze deals gun damage, there's a chance of a secondary explosion centered on the target. More splash damage. You get a mod that ties into short fuse. What? Oh shit. You probably shouldn't be here or something. I'm sorry, I know you were going in blind. My bad, dude. I just didn't want to pussy out on the question. Hope there went our advertising YouTube dollars. I said the P word. Alright, so she's all about dropping those nukes, alright? For this build that I'm doing. I don't use a salamander because it's a flamethrower, and the last thing I want to do is drain fuel. So you notice the guns that I'm using will not drain fuel. I want to make sure I still got my nuke in here. Anyway, alright, so occasionally Moze's Iron Bear shots will deal additional incendiary damage and won't consume ammo. Why do we want incendiary damage? Because, as I said, she's about the nukes. We want to spread splash damage and start wildfires, because if we start wildfires, we get even more cooldown rate. Why do we want cooldown rate? Because we want a Mecha-Forever. We want to drop our cooldown as much as is possible. And when we do have our Iron Bear up, we want him to be strong, we want him to be fueled up, and we want him to be able to drop some nukes. So that we get him back even better. Of this, by the way. Thank you, Water. As I say, I really actually like Moze, and I'm excited to play her. I just figured Zane would be a more appropriate main to start with. Moze's currently equipped weapon gains a stacking bonus to magazine size and decreased heat per shot for every piece of equipped gear that has a matching manufacturer. One, it's just a cool ass skill. A really well designed skill, and it kind of goes into the proficiency thing that I wanted. Like, I think you should get better at using Jacobs if you use Jacobs. I think it has a ton of potential. and it gets me into the next tree. But basically, when we're out of our mech and the mech is on sentry unit, we provide covering fire because we can just keep firing off a Vladoff assault rifle with triple spin barrels. More incendiary damage because, hey, remember where we said we wanted to nuke things and light it on fire? Well, let's make those wildfires actually hurt the enemies pretty damn good. After Moze scores a critical hit, she regenerates ammo for a few seconds. Alright, we want a big ass magazine. We want Vladoff triple spin barrel so we can provide covering fire while our Iron Bear recharges and he's on Iron Bear sentry mode, still launching his nukes. Not only that, critical hits. Remember, they regenerate ammo. Oh, we can get critical hits with our grenades. Imagine a MIRV grenade. A MIRV grenade across an entire field, hitting nothing but crits on a giant mob of enemies. That's a lot of ammo back. There we are. That's where we're at. Okay, so while moving, Moze's handling, weapons swap, and mode switch speed are increased. One, it gets us to the next tree, because we need one more point to move down. Second, it's just a general passive buff. It'll help. Moze can sprint at the shoot same time. Good mobility, especially with the addition of mantling and sliding now. Being able to do that is going to add tons of mobility. So if I'm not in the Iron Bear, I can still zip around. Because my skills outside of the Iron Bear kind of suck, right? I'm not going to be the best soldier, certainly not. I only exist so I can get right back in my mech. So I want to be able to move around. Because I only have... Look, this is my survivability skill. Is grenades. Grenades that are hopefully critting. So just survive until we get Iron Bear back. Moze gains increased fire rate and critical hit damage. Critical hit damage because it's so important for our grenade build. Our damage outside of our mech comes from our grenades. That's why we've increased their capacity, made them able to crit, and hopefully have an AoE grenade so that we get more cooldown. Equipping 2 of the same weapons on Iron Bear increases the damage they deal. Hence why we have both of these guns set up as the same guns. And then we have exploding bullets. Minigun fires explosive rounds that deal increased splash damage, but the fire rate is increased. Why increase splash damage? Because when Moze deals splash damage, our action skill cooldown rate is briefly increased. Again, so that by the time I get out of the Iron Bear, if he's not in sentry mode, he's flying right back down so I can get right back in him. Hey, spawn your damn mech, dude. Oh, it just jumps up under you. That's pretty good. I like the sound, too. I kind of wish it was more Fallout-esque with the nuke, but that's still pretty good. So it is? Well, what the hell? They've moved it. This was exactly what... Oh. Well, hey. Well, hey. I can still nuke... But I swear they've moved it. There. Good. Double nukes. That's what I want. Double nukes. I think maybe I took it off because I thought to myself that this would actually work better in sequence because of the splash damage doing the cooldown. But it doesn't matter. With this build, you can still run double nukes if you want to run double nukes. But it's probably more optimum to run the splash damage with the railgun.